Welcome to Simply Heaven, the podcast where we tackle the biggest question of all time: what happens after I die? And more importantly, how do I get into heaven? Join us as we dive into what the Bible says, explore other perspectives from other religions, and share some wild personal stories along the way. This is a space for honest and real conversations for those looking for hope in this broken world. So grab a coffee, settle in, and join us as we uncover the truth together. Hey guys, and welcome to the Simply Heaven podcast. I'm your host, David Madera, and today we have the absolute pleasure of getting to sit down with Greg and learn more about his story. So stay tuned, and here we go.
I'm going to start off right away. I'm not the best interviewer. I kind of take over.
Well, you see, that's what's going to make this perfect. You know, we're gonna keep this on the rails for you.
Oh man!
But here's where we're gonna start, and I'm gonna ask the first question here, and then I'm gonna let Steve take the reins a little bit here. But we're gonna go back to the question you asked Steve.
Oh,
all right. So first question, we're diving right into it. What's your walkout song?
My walkout song is DMX.
No, which? That's what I knew it was going to be X.
You knew it was going to be X?
Which X song?
Oh, Who We Be.
It's
It's my favorite one.
Okay.
It's the one that got me into X. It's just that was like I could relate to that. I could relate to all three verses in some way or another.
All right.
You know, go ahead.
I was gonna say go through those verses. What do we relate about them?
The first is growing up. The second is how he grew up in the city. The second verse is about his time. Now I didn't spend any time in jail, but his is about, you know, is it better to live in the streets or is it better to go to jail? That's kind of, and then your time in jail. I don't have that one, but I could sort of relate to it a little bit. You know, talking about like, you know, he goes to jail. Like I went to Reading, and then I went on to bad school after that. And I just remember them locking you in the bus. Like, this is pre-prison.
Yeah.
That was about it for me, and I knew I couldn't. This is not good for a 5'7" white guy. Pre-prison's only going to teach you so much. And then the third was his life in the present. You know, what was going on, his struggles and all this stuff, you know, his demons. So that I could relate to all three verses. So that's why Who We Be is just to me, it's like my 2 or 3 favorite song, you know.
So, y'all don't know, you can't really see Greg, but he's got a lot of tattoos, and I believe every person who has tattoos has a story about their tattoos and a story about their life. I believe that. I could be wrong.
R. Kelly believed he could fly. I mean,
still trying.
We are locked in a room.
So how has, I mean, you can see how the story that DMX told shaped him.
Yes.
How has your story, similar to his, shaped you so far?
How it shaped me? I don't know. Well, I grew up on 9th Street in Reading. Went to Reading High. Graduated Reading High. I did go to Star for like a half a year.
Star was...
Didn't mean you were special or bright. It just meant you were, the Reading wasn't good enough for you. You got to get reformed, which I did, kind of ish. Then my mother thought she should be Mother of the Year, and she sent me to private school for half a year at Spring Valley, if you know where that's at.
Yeah.
When I was at school. It didn't.
Was that a Christian school?
It was, yeah.
Okay.
Little did I know that.
All right.
It was a pace school. You go at your own pace.
Okay.
Yeah, not a good environment for me. I'm not academically. My pace was like, yeah, I'll get to that. You know what I mean? Not when you have like a time restriction. You know, hey, you only got 12 years to do this.
Right.
I'll get there. So my pace, I would still be there. I would still be in 11th grade if I was at my pace. English, yeah, we cool. We got that. So the X story is just I didn't have anybody who I could truly understand or relate with. Being in a predominantly minority-driven city, me being the minority of the minority, if that makes sense. But it was my home life was what it is. It wasn't like warm, loving, and inviting. It was very like, hey, you just do your thing. We'll just be two ships passing in the night, sort of thing.
Yeah, I heard a line from one of my favorite X songs is "Slippin'." I sent you that.
Oh yeah.
And he says he did everything he could to be the seed that didn't need much to succeed.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because you got to do this. You got to do this on your own. And
yes.
You need water. Sorry, you may not make it.
Yeah, take that bucket and go.
Yeah.
It's sort of how I felt. I felt, I didn't want to. Listen, I knew something was wrong with us.
You see other people doing it differently.
Yes, yeah. And it's hard because I remember being on 9th Street. We finally got a car. It got stolen in the police parking lot. Shout out to the Reading Police Department there.
We should have shout out to Reading.
You shouldn't. It was in their parking lot. I thought it was being punked by Ashton Kutcher. Before he was even anybody. I was like 6. But we got our car stolen. And I just remember chilling, like, we got a car. Like, oh, we got a car. We going places. We weren't going anywhere. We were just driving around the block.
Yeah.
You
didn't have to get a bus to do it.
That's true. We didn't have to think about it. We didn't have to walk.
That's right.
And then it got stolen. We were back to walking.
Mm-hmm.
But, so I'll back up. Yeah, like 9th Street, I just remember being just felt very alone. Mm-hmm. For most of my life, I just felt very like alone, and I'll touch on the Christianity part of it. I was told I was Catholic. I was just cool with that. I was like, yeah, we Catholic. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Big up to the Pope. I didn't understand. I don't know what the Pope does. I don't know nothing about the Pope. I just know that's not his name. That's about all I knew. Oh, that ain't his name. His name ain't Pope. That was my Catholic background right there.
Yeah, I got you.
So I grew up being told I was Catholic. So I was just like, I'm cool with that. There was no like, hey, you should explore into that more. What's right, what's wrong. Just know you Catholic. You got baptized as a baby. You good to go. All right, cool. And that's kind of how I felt.
So what values do you think were instilled in you in that? Because you and I grew up similarly. Like,
yes.
I grew up with
the outcast of outcast.
Well, no, I was the minority in the minority neighborhood, but
right.
my goals were set. 92 Accord. That's what I wanted. I want a 92 Accord with nice rims. Like that was. Those are the goals.
Oh. My personal goal. I didn't really have any personal goals growing up. I had a few that were like distilled upon me. So that was, if you could stay out of jail, that's pretty good. Like a lot of my family, knocking on styrofoam or whatever that is. They've done some time.
Yeah.
So that was like a personal goal, but yet a goal of like, if you could just stay out of jail. All right, I think I can. I think I'll be all right. I think I can.
I'm winning.
Yeah. And then when I went to the Star and they locked me in the bus, I was like, yeah, that's a pretty good thing to not do. Very, very low standards here. Yeah. I was told we couldn't go to college, so I put that in the back burner. I can't afford college, so that wasn't a personal goal of mine. So I didn't go to college until I was like 30-ish, I think. Another goal was just get a job. Just get out of school, just get a job. Factory job, you're set for life.
Yeah.
And I did. I got that. I did get a factory job. I lasted 4 days. It wasn't for me.
Yeah, that wasn't a time where people were like, follow your passion.
No.
That was not the idea.
There was no passion. There was no passion whatsoever.
There's bills.
Yeah, there was bills. Yeah, there was no bills. I moved into my mother and her boyfriend's garage, and I thought that was the great. I was like, oh shit, this is great.
Yeah. Well, you got.
I had my own place. It was detached.
Got your own place.
Yeah, it was detached. It wasn't attached. It was detached. There was a driveway in between us.
Mm-hmm.
So I moved in there. It was very high end. My mother and them decided to move out of the city when I was like 17. She did not take me with, and then I called my aunt, and then she was like, no, I think that's a good. You should probably take him. Yeah, you should, like a lost dog. Yeah, he needs to go with you. You've had him this long. You might as well just, take him now. So I moved into the garage, with them and got a job. They got me a factory job.
Yep.
After I was done with high school, and I lasted 4 days. It was at UWASA. Shout out to UWASA. It was a great place to work. I cannot tell you what we did. I just remember sitting there, and two conveyor belts. You would grab like these like floppy disk things, and you put them in a box. It was definitely my education level job. Wasn't over my head.
Clear instructions. And,
Yeah.
And
if they could get an animal to do it, very low. If they could get an animal to do it, they would. CNI dogs do more in a day than I would say I did, productive wise. So I put these floppy disk thingies in like a box for 8 hours. Did it third shift. I got paid 14 something an hour.
Pretty good.
Yeah, 1995. That was pretty good. I did that for 4 days. The supervisor walked up to me on day 5 and said, "You're going to make it a week." I said, "Oh, I don't think so." And he said, "Why not?" And I said, "Listen, I'd rather just blow my brains out than do this ever again. This is just completely a waste of life to me." And listen, it was their fault. In this case, they had a big clock on the wall. And I just remember just staring at it, like
waiting for it to end.
Yeah, the seconds would go tick, tick, and that was like a second. It felt forever. I was just like, "Oh, I can't do this." And then I got my first paycheck. I was like, "Shoot, I should have been able to do that because it was a pretty good paycheck."
Sorry, can I come back?
Yeah, can I? I think I messed up. I was on NyQuil at the time. Just NyQuiling it up. I was not in the right state of mind.
It was funny when the three of us met, and you told me when you first met David, you're like, "No, I think I can really." Well, why don't you say like identify with that guy because of your thoughts on achievement? So somehow you went from that job to wanting to be an achiever.
Yeah.
What happened there?
I don't know. I think I fell down. Okay, so I couldn't keep a job. I couldn't get a job that I wanted. I had no college education. Me and my wife were together. I had, we had a child. Then we got married. Because that's what you do. That was the right thing to do. She was a Christian, devout Christian, and I was not. But she had faith, and she was strong, and she's everything she'd tell me these stories about like her high school and your wife and my wife, so people know, went to the same school. Yeah. But I loved those stories. She was like, "Oh, we were so tight. We could talk, and we could." I understand. I went to Reading. Like your class of 8 is my 800, And when you go to a big public school, you kind of have to watch
everything.
On a swivel. Yeah. And he just doesn't leave at school because now you live with these people, My wife had 3 people on her block, which is like a couple acres long, where we have 100 people on a block that's
tight. 3 people in the room with
you. Yeah. So she just was this beautiful, strong creature to me. And I wanted to do right by her. And my son, I did not realize at the time, he was emulating everything eventually that I was going to do or be. And I woke up, and I'm not knocking my dad, but he moved furniture, is divorced, he left when I was very young. Good guy, just, didn't know how to handle that, end of it. And his dad did the same, and his dad did the same, and it was just passed down generation of screw-ups. Not saying you're a screw-up, but that's how I felt.
All right.
And I woke up, we did the same job. Children without being married. I was not married at first. And then, and there was a lot of like addictions and all this sort of thing that I just said, I can't do that anymore. I can no longer be that. When sometimes you learn in life, it's not what people tell you what to do. It's sometimes just looking at them and saying, I'm going to do the opposite of that.
Yeah. Cautionary tales.
Yeah. Yes. I learned that from, I was watching, it is true, I still remember this. I was watching a documentary on Metallica. Metallica and Guns N' Roses went out on tour. And Metallica said they wanted to be this great band. And Guns N' Roses was just falling apart. They were starting riots and all this stuff. Metallica said, we're going to do everything the opposite of what they are. And we're going to be this great band. And they're still very sexual to this day. And I thought, that's a good advice. Sometimes God speaks to you through Metallica.
God can speak through anything. And
yeah.
He shows that in the Bible.
Yeah. But I took that advice, like literally. I was told, just get a factory job, just get a car, but it has to be a junky car. Don't get married, don't have children. You just live this very subdued life. And I just said, no, I can't do that.
Do you think it was your wife who changed your focus from what's around you to what could be? Sorry. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because she was just like, we have to make it. You do have something greater in you. And she was the first one to recognize that. And I and sometimes it takes somebody else to recognize something in you. Yeah, and she recognized that. I think it was the drugs that was slipping in her drinks, but that's beside the point. She's like, I see something in you. No.
Here, have another.
Yeah. More coffee. It's herbal tea.
Very herbal.
Very herbal. But I think she recognized that and just saying you are meant for something else. Find a relationship and pattern yourself after that. And I love all my aunts and uncles to death, especially I had a very Italian uncle, and him and his wife that was his ride or die. They were just together everywhere. So we went on vacation for 6 months, but we'll talk about that another time. But they were just together. She wanted a pond. He'd build her a pond. She wanted a certain car. He would go get her that car. And I was intrigued by that. Like, oh, I want that, not having anything growing up. But I appreciated she could just get whatever she wanted, financially. And I was like, I need to do something that makes us, money.
Yeah, it is not uncommon for motivation in young men to be found in young women.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Shout out to Smokey the Cat. Got to back up, watch pod number 2 or 3, whatever, which one we're on.
Sometimes that's kind of what I'm, looking for in my own son. I'm like,
yeah, it's hard. You can't teach motivation.
No, you got to find it.
You got to find it, yeah.
Or someone has to tell you that it's in you.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was not that I was a quitter, but I quit at everything I kind of did growing up because I just didn't have that foundation that was going to be supportive. If you were going to do it, you were going to do it on your own.
Yeah.
Everything you did is on your own. You're just on your own. You're just like a wolf in the wild. But you're on your own. There's no pack with you.
Right.
You're being told, hey, you're a wolf. Okay, great. I feel that way. But am I? You know what I mean? You're not really ready to go out and attack and do what you have to do to survive, to make that connection. And yeah, so it was just tough. But I did like my aunt and uncle's marriage. I thought that was, even my other aunt and uncle, and both on my mother's side were very tight knit. He was a Marine drill sergeant, but goofy, just super goofy, just goofy as hell. you know, but he just had that Saturday morning. So wake up, you know, we're going away. We're going to make spam burgers and weird crap. And I was just like, oh, this is a different outlook on how a man is. Huh. It was strong and it was loving and it was caring, but it was fun. Where my other Italian uncle was very, very business, very dead serious. Never seen him raise his voice, never heard him swear.
Business or like hustling business?
Hustling.
Yeah, yep.
You know, just street, and I could identify with that because he was from the street. Mm-hmm. You know, and I was like, okay, he made it. I'm not gonna sell weed, but I'm gonna make it a different way. Yeah. You know, you're still gonna hustle. Yeah. You know. And I remember him telling me when I was very young, he was just like, there's no shame in the game. You know what I mean? You got to do what you got to do. It is about blood. It is about family. You got to keep it moving forward. If not, don't bother. Just get out of the way. And I was like, okay, I'll try to keep that in mind. You know, need a time, but that.
So growing up with that and seeing that as your idea for what life is, what adulthood is, what success would look like. How does that then translate into when you met your wife?
Yeah.
She started to see something in you that you couldn't see in yourself.
Yeah.
So how does that lead, or how did that lead to what you're doing now, and more specifically, like even with your walk, with your faith? Like how did Jesus show up in that for you?
Well, so my eldest son, we had two children. We had two boys. I wanted two boys. Not that I didn't want my girl, but I wanted her. I wanted two boys first because I wanted them, you know, somebody to play with and, you know, do boyish things with. And we bought a house, and, you know, we were cool, and I was working, and I was just kind of going from this job to that job to this job to that job, not really doing anything important. Just, you know, here's a bill, let's pay it, you know. But we're never going to truly be successful. So how that correlates to God was she sat there, I remember being like 30, and just saying, like, are you eventually going to change the narrative? Like, how are you going to change the narrative? You're the man. Like, you need to lead. And I was just like, okay, I don't know. And then she said the most important question I've ever been asked my entire life is, what do you want to do? And I was just like, well, what do you mean? She was like, what do you want to do with your life? And I've never been asked that. I was just like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, it's so funny because you can, you know, you and I grew up in, you know, similar circumstances.
Right, and we're about the same age.
Right. And my mom she is the baby of 12, but she saw all of my cousins while I was coming up, not necessarily excelling or anything, and she wanted something different for me. So she fought to kind of put me in situations where I could do better, and those questions could be asked and actually have space because you know, when you're
relevancy.
When you're just in the hood,
you just living. You just living.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter what I want to do with my life. I'm doing what I need to do.
Yeah, exactly. Well, growing up, we lived in the West Lawn. You know, when we first got married, and but she asked me that question. I was like, I remember being like 29, 30, and she said, what do you want to do with your life? And I was just like, oh man, I don't know. And then I seen an interview. I don't know if you know who Emeril Lagasse is. Oh yeah. But Emeril was on TV, not cooking. And he said to the guy, he said, Emeril, what do you do for fun? He goes, I cook. He goes, no. What do you do outside of work? And he goes, I cook. And I was like, oh, that's fun to him. That brings him joy. That gets his passion out. That brings all that good stuff, all those good qualities out because he's doing something he feels passionate about. So I knew right then and there, I was like, I'm going to go to culinary school. I'm going to go to the Art Institute of Philadelphia. That's where I want to go. I love the city. I'm a city guy. Yeah. You told me he was in the middle of the woods. I'm not going
Never mind. I'll cook somewhere else.
Yeah. Here's a can of baked beans. Leave me alone. I think that's what country folk eat. So I went to the Art Institute of Philadelphia. I went for about a year, about two-ish years. And it was it got taken. I couldn't afford it. This is what it was because it was me and my wife. Yeah, I couldn't put that financial burden. But I grew in that, just that little experiment, I like to say, because I grew as a person into being passionate at what I did. And I found my people, you know, because outside being, you know, from the city or, you know, bad neighborhood, there's all kinds of people, but they're all generally the same. Right. You know, there's good people, there's bad people, and then there's hustlers, and then there's this and there's that.
But all living in the same environment and going at the same speed.
Yes.
Which is generally nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. Just surviving. Mm-hmm. You know, but I found my people. I found like the culinary people that like to create. And I was like, oh, these people are like me. They're not good at school. But they can design. Like I could see things even from now because I'm a designer now, but I could see the room how it needs to look. Maybe not what it is, but what it's going to be. I know how to transform that into what it needs to be. And the feeling that you get from a room, or in this case, culinary, I knew what the feel of the plate should be. I knew what you wanted to eat and how that's going to make you feel. And so I knew that, and it was just the greatest thing to me. It gave me that confidence on what I needed to be.
What David was saying is, how did God show up in that? Because you were working.
Yeah.
You were hustling in a direction trying to gain more speed than you've seen.
Yes.
And your wife was bringing the God thing to you, because I know that feeling.
Yeah.
When you know you have a woman who not only loves you, but is depending on you.
Yes.
God told her to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I guess God told her that, you know, hey, he is. So I'll back up. She had a dream when she was little, and I'm not going to dive into her thing, you know, but she said she remembered praying, and then God said, you don't need to pray for you need to pray for your future husband because he has it worse than you. And she was just like, oh, and that really hit me, because I was like, oh, because I'm not a person that sits there and says I had a hard life. That's just not who I am. It's not my MO. Today's might be bad, but tomorrow's gonna be great. So no. Let's just keep moving forward. I'm not about that. But how God came in, I just remember looking in the mirror when we were in West Lawn and just being like, I got to change this. I got to change. I can't. Just because it's in your bloodline, you're born with blessings and you're born with curses, some more than others. But I just looked at everything we had in our past. Your bloodline and your name is your past. You know, you have to change that narrative. And I was determined to change that somehow. Like, okay, I'm not going to drink. Not because of myself. It's because I have to, because we're born addicted. My family is addicted. Like, you could be like, hey, listen, you know, well, looking at feet is an addiction. These people would look at all the feet. You know, there's no way around it. They're just, you know, we were, you know, drugs, alcohol, divorce, you know, just living on your own, not having responsibility, not trying to get better as a family. There's no family in that. You know, it was just, you're alone, you do your life and you just live it, just keep on it down low and move forward. And I didn't want that. I wanted my children to be achievers and to dream and to live their life and to make it, you know. And I knew that I had to change that. I had to drive that. I don't want somebody else to be the hero. I wanted to be the hero.
I hear that. That's
Mike Tyson was my hero.
I mean, but yeah, that's huge. You know, like that feeling. I want to be my kid's hero, which means,
yeah,
you know, I got to put that cape on today. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. And God came into my life. I mean, I just remember I wasn't a reader. I was not a churchgoer. But I needed something that felt like me. And I asked you the question, what was your Bible verse or what was your, you know, story? And for me, it was the woman at the well.
Mm. Yeah.
Because she was the outcast of outcast. Mm-hmm. You know, I just remember hearing a story, and I actually didn't read it. I just remember driving, I don't know where to, and Billy Graham was on. I love Billy Graham. He's just my favorite. I listen to Billy Graham just about every night, but he told the story of the woman at the well, and I never really heard it before. Mm-hmm. And it was her going to the well in the middle of the day, like, because the outcast don't even like you. Like, you're not accepted by them. Like, you're not, like, how can you live in the streets and the streets don't accept you? Like, how bad of a person do you have to be? And I could relate to that. I identified with her in that story, and I felt Yeah, I get where she's coming from. You're just looking for anything. You're just looking for any inspiration, any motivation, and her motivation was Christ. That was the only thing that was keeping her going. Yeah. And I just needed something. I just remember even being a kid, like being told you can't pray to God. Well, why? Because I was Catholic. You got to save that time for whatever. And I was like, well,
for lashing yourself, I think.
Yeah. Well, I just remember being a kid looking out my window and just being like 4 or 5 years old and being like, I'm the man of the house. Like, we live in a bad neighborhood. You Google or the 100 block of 9th Street, just Google map it, whatever. It's a bad neighborhood, and I just felt like just not scared of where I lived because it was just normal. But I just remember being like, when it rained, I had this vision like, oh, I loved it when it rained or was bad out because I didn't think people would rob you. They ain't coming out in the rain.
Yeah, exactly. They're not coming out in the rain.
I wouldn't. So what would make them? And that there's a comfort in that chaotic life. So but I knew then, like, I could talk to God, I could pray to God, I can talk to Jesus, like, just something I knew more without knowing nothing. And I just, and then as I got older, it kind of went away, and then it came back. That freedom of speaking
directly to God.
Yeah.
I think that's like it's always funny when you get to hear people's story about like how they get to that relational piece with God. And that was one thing that I can relate to with that was, I mean, I didn't grow up Catholic. I grew up with I call it the pink Kool-Aid of Catholicism.
The pink Kool-Aid with no sugar.
Yeah, no sugar. And for me, and even Steve alluded to this last week, but my view of God was always like this big sheriff in the sky just looking to condemn me. So for me, it was, I could only come to him when it was me bringing my best.
Oh.
And
okay, yeah, I didn't have that.
Yeah. So tie in, like, what did that look like for you when, having that, because like you said, you didn't feel like you could pray.
Right.
But then you found that outlet in more of like the calm of the storm when it was like literally storming outside. Because of the robbing and everything like that.
Well, you put your head down. Okay, so the funny thing about a storm is this. If you think about a storm, most people run away from storms. But that just makes a storm last longer. But if you run into the storm, you just go through it. And it's over with. And that's kind of always been my MO. Just run towards it. Don't run away from it. Just run towards it. Like, bring it on. I say, like, I don't know the guy with no legs from Forrest Gump. I don't know his name. Yeah, just that moment of like, just bring it on. I'm here. I'm a vessel. I'm ready to work and now I just feel like there's tons of opportunity. Growing up, I just felt like there was none. And now I feel like there's tons of opportunity. And why are you waiting? Like, let's make something that we turn what was a curse into a blessing for future generations. Like, I want, my kids to have it obviously better, but I want them to know what a family vacation is. I never went on one of those. There was no. It was just me and my mother. You know what I mean? We weren't going to do that.
You were living and surviving.
Exactly. She was a waitress. She worked the hardest worker I ever met. I'll give a shout out to my mom. She was the hardest worker. She still is the hardest working person I've ever met.
Yeah, I didn't learn about family vacations until I was, after my dad had passed, because it was just my mom.
Right.
And then...
It's a weird family vacation.
Right.
Just us in a new place for like 2 days.
But then we started going to like a place for 3-4 days or whatever, like driving somewhere.
Oh no, we didn't have a car.
Yeah.
We didn't fly either.
Yeah, but is there a moment?
Yeah.
Where do you remember, or do you have one? Because I know, like for my wife and a lot of people who grew up in the church their whole lives, they don't really have a moment where God snatched them up by the collar. You know what I mean? Like I had. But is there a moment when you remember when you recognize God as Lord and Jesus as Lord of your life?
It wasn't a certain moment, but it was a time thing. It wasn't that he grabbed me by the collar. It was more of like, I'm going to release the collar.
Okay.
It was different. It was like, you're okay. You're accepted. you're in this bloodline now. You're in this family. You could look to me as the anchor, as the father figure. You know, it wasn't so much, hey, you better do right.
Right.
You know, it wasn't paddle the ass. It was more of like, no, just you'll be okay.
And was there a church or a pastor or your wife? Like, what allowed you to be able to see God like that? Because I know that that kind of loving acceptance is what brought me to my knees. You know what I mean? Because one of those things like, I know you, bro. I know you from day one to now. I know what you did.
And I know what you're going to do. Yeah.
That's right. And you know what? I still love you. Like that, to this day, that breaks me. You know?
Yeah. Well, my daughter, she had asthma, and I never felt, like, oh, God, I didn't think I could love anybody as much as I love my little girl. She was just bald. She had 2 little strands of hair. My wife was trying to clip up. It was a mess. But she had asthma. She had asthma really bad. And I just remember thinking, oh, my God, she couldn't breathe. She had collapsed lungs. She just had, it was rough for like the first 3 or 4 years. And she was just, it was tough. And then we go to Glad Tidings. We still go to Glad Tidings. But Pastor Greg Hubbard was there. And I just remember being like, you know, kind of not upset, but just like, I keep praying. My wife keeps praying. Like, you know, you just keep giving it your all. And why isn't he answering this? And Greg Hubbard had a sermon on, and he had a cross at the foot of the church. And he said, if there's anything you want to put on this cross at the feet of Jesus, you do it now. And my daughter says to me, she goes, I'm going to give him God my asthma.
Wow.
And she goes up and she writes asthma.
How old was she with this?
About 5. She was young. She was like 5 or 6.
Come on.
And she was so good at going to like the lung specialist. Like they would do like the x-ray, and to get her to stop crying, we would like, you know, because she was just little, you know, and we were like, oh, you're a little model. You could pose. Oh, you know, just pose. Oh, look at you. You're so cute. Yeah. You know, she'd cry and snobby running down her face, you know. But she put it on the feet of a cross, and we went literally that week back to the doctor, and I just remember the doctor saying, what did you do? I was like, what do you mean? I didn't do anything. And the scene in The Passion where he says, look, Mom, I make all things new. The doctor says to her, she goes, she has brand new lungs. And we were just like, yeah, my wife just lost it. And she's not had anything ever since. Wow. Yeah. And that was really like this is
for real.
Yeah. Not that I didn't believe then, but it was just that, you know, you're going to have to go through peaks and valleys, but that doesn't mean I'm not with you. Yeah. You know, as X would say, you know, he was riding in the passenger seat, right? And who was riding with me, you know.
Oh, that he says in
Who We Be? Yeah, the third verse, yeah, yeah. You know, little did I know the Lord is riding with me. That's the line.
Oh, okay.
And I kind of always remember that line, like, oh yeah, he's there. No matter what I'm going through, he's still there.
Yeah.
You know,
for me, it was that connection is the most probably cliche Christian poem ever is the Footprints.
Yes.
That one is. That one still gets me because those are the times when you think like,
yeah, you're alone.
I'm on my own.
No, and he's carrying you, and you just don't even know it. And you don't even know it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there was no like specific like, oh, this is I gotta pinpoint it at this day. It was more of a buildup of like, okay, I'm gonna keep trusting. I'm gonna keep learning. I'm gonna keep growing.
So that time, what was that date range for putting a date on?
Oh, I have no clue. I don't even know how old she is now.
I can still picture the apartment because the place you lived was right.
Yeah, it was near. Right. Well, we moved out by then. Okay, we knew he was moving in.
There goes the neighborhood.
No, we lived there for about 2-3 years in West Lawn.
Yeah.
And then we moved out. So that was, it was probably about like 15 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. But it was a buildup of that, you know, the little things. And did he have to show me a miracle? No, he did not. But I was blessed enough to be a part of.
And to recognize it.
Yeah.
You know, there's one thing is once you open up your heart to Christ, you can recognize the work of God in your life as opposed to treating it just as a series of random events.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And then continually to grow and just, you know, for me, I like to be in the Word every day. Like I don't read, but I audio book it. I'm Bible app. So I every morning I try to do 2 or 3 not knockout, but you know what I mean? Listen. So it gets me in the Word and I could, and to this day, every day I find out something new. You learn something new, and you learn that it's not a book. It's an actual. To me, it's living. It's alive. Because how do you not learn from it? How does it not expose your inner being? You know,
Hebrews 4:12. Sorry, just in case you're wondering what he's talking about. It is alive. It is alive.
Yeah, it's God's word.
Yeah,
it's. I mean. Without him, nothing. There's nothing. There's not even light.
Yeah.
So it's his word. It's God's word. And some people are like, oh, you could do this. You could do why? Why do any of that? It's his word, and this is why I don't like the show The Chosen. You did not hear that from me, though. I'm just being real.
It just seems like a lot for The Chosen. I'm talking.
Listen, it is beautiful.
I'm not trying to smash it because I know
you can like it,
and I know it has brought many people to Christ.
Yes, it has.
So you know, just like a lot of people don't like Joyce Meyer because for whatever reason. But I'll tell you what, I was one of the only men in her audience
when she went to Hershey.
Yes, yeah, and all these women were like, "Where's your wife? What are you doing here?" I'm listening to God's word. What?
Yeah, yeah. That shouldn't matter too much. I just don't like. Okay, so this is my beef with The Chosen.
Oh, there we go.
I watched because everybody kept telling me, you know, watch Woman at the Well, watch Woman at the Well. Fine, I'll sit down. I'll watch Woman at the Well. So in the episode, Jesus does the whole thing, and he does it. I'm going to say 90-ish% accurate. But then at the end, I felt it showed a different side of Jesus that I did not want to see. He starts calling out her ex-husbands by name. That's not in the Bible, folks. He does not do that. Why do you need to do that? I know Jesus' word. I can read them verbatim.
Right.
I don't need you to say Jesus need to be like, yeah, peace out, homie. He does not need to do that. Just for your own, and I get it. There's you could massage.
Oh yeah, so there's creative license.
Yeah, there's a creative license, and I'm fine with that. But not when it comes to Jesus.
Yeah, don't mess with the red letters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's gonna look it up. He's gonna test my. He's fact checking me right now.
She knew what he meant when. He said,
what he knew her. He knew her heart.
Yes, and that's why she ran and told everybody.
Yes,
he told me about my entire life.
Yeah, he didn't need to read. Like he knew
exactly.
Well, since you just quoted that, I think that's where The Chosen was getting to, was the line where she said, "He told me my whole life."
Yes.
So I think that was more of The Chosen taking that visual aspect of.
Yeah, but do we need that? Well, it shows it shows him not as powerful to me.
How so?
Because he don't need to call you out. He knows your heart, and he already knows what to say or what to do. You know, and her trust. I just don't. But if he doesn't say that biblically, then why are you saying it non-biblically?
Because he was able to say it almost
spiritually,
telepathically. He
yes,
spoke right to her heart because of his presence, and I think that's what you're saying.
Yes,
but you see, for me, like where I think the tie-in comes, man, I love that we're getting to this right.
Yeah,
now.
We just spiraled.
Yeah, but you see, like, so when Jesus comes back,
yes,
doubting Thomas,
yes,
right. Jesus didn't have to come back in the form of actually still having the holes in his hands.
Yeah, and he said, "Put your finger in." Yeah,
right. But he knew.
Right.
What was going to get through to Thomas. So he comes back, he meets Thomas, and he doesn't do it in a condemning way of being like,
no.
Hey, Thomas, you don't believe? Here, put your finger. And it's like, no, Thomas, here.
Right.
You don't believe.
Yeah, doubt now.
Yeah.
Right.
So go ahead, feel. And I think that's what, when I saw that scene,
Okay.
because I guess I'm the standout in this group of like, I don't mind The Chosen. I think it's good.
I can't have an opinion. I've only watched. My wife tells me we got through season 1. I don't even think we watched that many. But,
Well,
You fell asleep?
That's your first problem. You got to get through season 1. Like every TV
No, I
series,
just went
to go to season like.
I just went right to the end.
But I think
I watched the first episode and the last episode.
Okay.
See, that's good. If you just read Genesis and Revelation, you got it all then.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Yeah. Who needs the gospel?
Yeah, who needs anything in between?
Come on, Steve.
Who needs anything in between? Listen, I watched the first episode.
Okay.
Okay, and they show Mary Magdalene how Jesus meets her in a bar. Mm-hmm. Now, when you show me that, I'll say The Chosen is on point.
Okay. Well,
That to me took away from their relationship, because the first time he meets her biblically that we know of, sorry, Dallas, whatever his name is,
Jenkins.
Shout
Out Dallas Jenkins.
By the way, can we call him out? Can we have him on as a guest? Is that a big one?
So no, actually,
Or do we need to wear our Mormon
so hold
underwear
on.
for that episode?
hold on. I mean, I hate tying in my business here, but
Okay.
one of my soon-to-be clients is actually working. The project manager is the guy that did the project management for The Chosen. So this actually isn't as far as a stretch as you might think. I might be able to make that connection.
All right. Shots fired.
Let's bring him on, Dallas Jenkins, if you're listening.
Yes, if you're listening.
We are going to call you on the podcast.
Yes, but I won't be a jerk.
Yeah.
But I will. That's my question. We meet Mary Magdalene. She's laying there biblically, and they're about to stone her to death, and Jesus steps in to save her. But in the show, he meets her in a bar before that. And is he following her? I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he's getting some drinks. I don't really know. But I don't know that story is not told to us biblically. And I understand you take liberties, but this is Jesus. There's no liberties to my mind.
Yeah.
You want to take liberties with anybody else, go right ahead. That don't bother me too much.
Yeah.
It does ish. But this is Jesus.
And to wrap up this thought here,
Yes.
I think what I see from what The Chosen's doing is it's showing the heart and the personality of Jesus. And I think the whole point is to more or less, how I grew up was, it was hard for me to believe in Jesus being fully God and fully man. It was easier for me to believe in him as fully God.
Okay.
It was harder for me to believe in him as fully God and fully man.
Right.
So I think what this does, it's showing the personality aspect of it to show that the disciples and Jesus were fully man. So Jesus would have fun and pick fun with his disciples.
Sure.
He would, and had the heart. And I think going back to tying it into the woman at the well, I think what The Chosen was trying to do, and I can't speak for them.
Right.
But,
I don't know either what their motive was.
Was to really just show like,
This totally went off topic.
Yeah, it did, but that's all right.
This is why we're here.
Yeah. But I think it was to show that, the woman at the well,
Right.
what she said in the Bible, what it said is that and I think the importance of it was, she said, he knew my past and told it to me.
Right.
So I think that was their way of cinematically being like, Jesus knew all of her husbands.
Okay.
He was there with it through everything. He
Right.
saw it, and she had to.
But does
hear
that
him.
lead into the book of Revelations where it says, do not add or take away anything from this? Is that adding?
Is it? I mean, it's not adding. But I think the difference
taking
is,
liberties.
But it's not. But The Chosen isn't coming out and saying, "Hey, this is in the Bible,
Right.
And it's
But you picked a heavy subject.
Well, but
Well,
yeah,
especially
it's
since it's one that really speaks to you, so it is
Right.
It is that.
Well, okay, so
much more.
let's and I know we got to wrap this up, so I'm going to wrap up my own segment. The question is this: we all know he dies on the cross, and let's just say he takes the artistic liberty to sit there and say Jesus is on the cross and he says this is finished, but I'll come back and so many people will see me. What if he takes that liberty to changing how we see salvation?
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, and we'll close out. I'm gonna. This will be my last part of this. if we can do that. But the whole idea of The Chosen and all of the things that we're talking about here and what Dallas Jenkins is
I think that's his
doing
name.
Is
I mean, he got a terrible first name. Let's just be honest.
how can we bring people to
If it was Philadelphia, if it was Philly, then I would be more inclined. I just have to give him a hard time because it's
All right,
Dallas.
so on this podcast moving forward, we're going to refer to Dallas Jenkins as Philly Jenkins moving forward.
Yeah, so Philly Jenkins,
Philly Jenkins.
if you're listening, we welcome you on the podcast. But I see the idea behind it is bringing more and more people to
Yes,
Christ.
I agree. And if it's
it
bringing
serves
people to
that
salvation, yes,
purpose,
then so be it.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm just very like,
I know, I love it. You know what? You want to go to the Bible and check it?
Yeah.
Go check it. 'Cause
You
now you're in
should.
the Bible.
That's
'Cause
true
now you're in
too.
the Bible.
Yeah, all right. Forget everything I said. It's the greatest show ever.
The power of Jesus, you just saw it
Yeah.
firsthand
Right there.
right there, changing hearts as you listen.
It's maybe because it's the new name.
Yeah, the Philly Jenkins really made it.
No, it's all right. It's all right. I'm going to grease the poles tonight. Climb up them, slide back down.
Oh man, we're not going to touch that one at all. I'm not touching the greased up pole.
You're not touching the greased up pole?
with a 10-foot pole.
No.
So let's wrap up here. So,
right.
what does heaven mean to you? Let's end it
Ooh.
there.
Community, I think it means to me. I just want to be part of the community. Like, I don't want it to be, we were asked a few weeks ago, what do you want somebody to say at your funeral? It's not very important to me what people say at my funeral. I can care less what you say, good or bad about me. But what I do want is I want a body of people that are all different colors, all different ages, all different races and nationalities, because I feel that is what heaven really is about. It's about all these different people coming together and worshiping one God. It's going to be fun. It's going to be community. That's truly what heaven is to me. Just, I don't know, just seeing the best in everybody. You know what I mean? Who they truly are, I think is heaven, you know? And that, yeah, I think that's what it is. I haven't done much research, but that's what I would like it to be. You know?
All right, great. Any final thoughts?
No, I'm good. This was, it was different. You know what I mean? Because I'm not used to diving into my own selfness.
Yeah.
I think that's a word.
Yeah.
It is now. Selfnessness.
Yeah. Your selfnessness.
Yeah.
New words. Look at
Yeah.
that.
Look that up.
All right. Well.
Don't ad-lib that either when
No.
they make the life. When Dallas Philly Jenkins makes my life story, he's just going to have it say, selfishness. That's what he's going to change it to. He's going to take that artistic liberty. That's not what I said. If he does a life story.
Oh, my. All right. Well, God bless you if you've listened this far.
Yeah.
But,
I'm opinionated if you haven't noticed.
Yeah. Hey, that's one of the things I think Steve and I have found to love most about you.
Oh, great.
Is that, so, and I think the listeners will too, for sure.
I hope so.
Yeah. But, thank you for sharing that. And
Yeah.
I hope, and I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be listening to this that can relate to that and a lot of the parts of your story, because there are many people that have experienced very similar things. And what's cool is like when we get to mine, I can relate to a lot of stuff from both of your stories in different ways.
Good.
And I think
We're not going to ask you any of those questions. We're just
wonderful. Yeah, great.
It's really going to be all about DMX.
Yeah, DMX. I am
and the band Outcast and the band.
I will do my research for next week to be able to answer those questions.
Look, do you not know who X is?
I do know. I'm just not as big of a fan as what you guys are. But grew up. Listen, I grew up in rural Lebanon County, Pennsylvania.
Okay, not a big
unless we're talking the Amish mafia, we ain't talking anything. All right? That's the mafia I grew up with. Okay,
I saw that in one of those pharmacies.
If
your name is DMX, you get a free hoagie or something, right?
exactly. Yeah. Oh man, but
Earl Simmons is his real name. For those that don't know, you didn't. Now you didn't see.
Now we know.
I think that's how we should end it.
Yeah,
Truth
there
bomb.
we go.
Shout out to Earl Simmons.
Yeah.
Earl Simmons. Yeah.
Rest in peace.
R.I.P. R.I.P. All right. Well, hey, we'll catch you guys next week. Thanks for listening in. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Simply Heaven. We hope this discussion has sparked your curiosity and provided some comfort in this often confusing world. Remember, this podcast is all about honest and real conversations. and we encourage you to reflect on your own beliefs and experiences. If you enjoyed our chat, please consider sharing it with a friend or leaving us a review. It helps us reach more people seeking hope and understanding. We'd love to hear your thoughts or stories, so don't hesitate to reach out to us on social media. And remember, the journey to understanding is just as important as the destination. Stay blessed, and we'll see you next week on Simply Heaven.